bit, because there's a lot of steps that we're going to be doing on this. So the previous demo, we got you to this point of getting the fretboard radius. The last step on the fretboard radius before you put finish on is use the little razor blade, be careful not to cut yourself, and use it as a scraper, just like you did with your wood on the back of your neck, and scrape the fret down. And then put the finish on. The quality and the look that you get is what makes this different from every other guitar. Just that little bit darkens the black, gets rid of all the scratches, deepens the white fret dots, so it just looks finished because you don't see any scratches at all in the fret dots. So, when you're singing, you're putting those scratches in.
Guitars are looking great, by the way.
Yeah, they're coming along.
They're looking very nice.
So we've cleaned out our fret slots, and we have what are known as hockey sticks. Okay. Okay. They are not logos. These are not St. Louis Blues or Boston Bruins. These are just hockey sticks. It just depends. These hockey sticks, what has happened is these are extra pieces, and you nip it and you file the tang away. I'm going to hand around the fret wire here.
That is clean, by the way.
That one is clean. Now it's going to be dirty when I get it back separate. I'll be clean. So you'll notice that the fret wire is like the letter T, and it's got tangs to hold the fret part into the wood. But what you have to do is file away part of those tangs, so that way you can use this as a depth gauge. Because what you want to make sure is that you've got a little room under this, that there's a gap under that tang when that's pressed all the way in. You want to make sure that there's a little space under it. If not, then the fret will not press all the way in. You'll bunch the fret. You'll then have rocky frets, and you'll be doing a lot more singing.
And that particular fret will be the absolute proud of the thing. So, kind of back to what I was saying here earlier, everything now that you're doing to that fretboard is going to determine what we run into when setup time comes. So this is cool.
So where did you sand the fretboard the most? Out on the outer edges. So those are, what? So that is where you really want to check to make sure that that hockey stick has some depth under it.
If it's not deep enough, you'll take the saw.
And so if it's not deep enough, take the saw, typically at an angle, about 20 to 30 degrees.
And it's a pull saw.
This one's a push saw based on the way the teeth are, but I still use it as a pull saw so I don't overcut. It's easy to overcut. The other thing is if you're not watching what you're doing, you're going to scratch your fretboard, and then it's like, oh, I got to go back to sanding. So now that we have the hockey stick process done, and that I would do up here. Sit down, relax, grab a cup of coffee or some water, do this process. This is not something you want to take 2 minutes to do. Oh, I'm done. You actually want to take time to get this done.
Definitely take your time now.
So once we have that part created or that part completed, fret wire that went around is where? We don't know which one it is. We need to wipe it off. So there's some mineral spirits on there, and you can see how dirty the rag gets just from wiping the fret wire from the cutting oils from the fret wire.
That'll be on your guitar, in your hands, and everywhere.
If you don't clean your fret wire. You want the tang side up.
There we go.
It's a little tight, Mike.
Okay. You're trying to get 12, a little less than 12, you know?
Radius 12.
Correct. I bunched that end, so we won't use that end. So you run it through. And so that end is gunched. I can't use that. I bent it the wrong way. I wouldn't even consider using that. This is a little bit tighter than 12. That's about 12-inch radius or so. But it's going to work okay for us. So it wasn't too far off. So everybody does this a little bit differently, but your kits will ship with 2 pieces of fret wire per guitar neck. That's it. This is number 141 medium StuMac fret wire. I suggest you buy a 1 pound extra if you're going to be running this as a class multiple times, just to have some extra fret wire around. It's about $50 for a 1 pound package. And you're like, really? Yeah, really. It's not cheap.
And you get about, that's about
a pound.
a pound.
That's about the pound packages right there. Yeah.
So what is it, 1.5 pieces per guitar? Is that
It's
what-
about 1 and 3/4. You don't have much left over.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. When you run it through a fret wire bender, the end of this, the last 3/8 of an inch is still flat. Did not get rounded over. So when we first use the fret wire, the first one we do is we always overhang that 3/8 that's flat. Okay? So we always overhang that first 3/8 that's flat. Because if we don't, and we use that, it's not going to conform to the 12-inch radius that we just sanded, that you just spent 35 minutes or more sanding to get that in. So that's only on the first one. So we tap this in on one end, plastic side of the hammer, FYI. And then we use the nipper. By the way, these happen to be like $65 or $70.
They're the king of all side nippers.
Yeah.
I don't even have these in my shop.
These are StuMacs.
Is that Nipex? Oh.
These are StuMacs. These, you want to have one copy. You only need one in your lab, and you can get some other cheapo end nippers that you can grind down to
Yeah.
get them somewhat
Yeah.
flat, but you need one of these. These are super sharp.
And you only cut fret wire.
How do you keep people from using them for other things?
Oh,
You gotta
like-
lock them away.
You just
Like-
do it this, you just
Yeah.
make a big deal about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, make a big deal
No.
about it. That's all I can do.
This is a tool that I call for positive control. So it goes from my vest to your hand, and it comes back to me before it goes to another student. There's several tools like that that we use. This is one of them. That way, that student knows that I'm not going to grab the screw and try to.
Or you just, if you cut off a fastener or something, you've just screwed the tip of that.
You're done, and you can try to grind that back and make it work, and it never is the same.
We bought, to Tom's point, we bought some cheap end nippers and we just dressed the ends of them. I had kids that could, we would just dress and you have to back file the back edges to get that good. But it's better than spending $80 and you really start on kids.
So that 1-inch belt sander that John has on the bench,
Yeah.
perfect for dressing these up. Okay, but yeah, you do have to back cut these
Yeah.
to get them a little bit sharper. So anyways, when you're nipping, don't nip like this, nip like this. Why? Because if you nip like this, you're going to try to lift up. When you nip like this, and I'm nipping it tight against the wood. Why? Because I don't want to waste any fret wire. So the second piece now is about a 1/16 of an inch overhang. That's where I gunched the end when I nipped it. That's it. I do not pre-cut. And the reason why I don't pre-cut is because when you're pre-cutting, you're cutting for here. Well, guess what? That leaves so much overhang here, you will not have enough out of those 2 strips of fret wire to get your neck.
Don't let your students be Mr. Joe efficient. You'll see them and they'll have them all tapped in. And then 5 of them fall out, you know, so. you know.
So rule of thumb is about 3, maybe 4. Because the more you tap, the more these are going to pop out.
Try not to twist it when you're cutting that off as well.
Yeah. Try to keep it square. All right. So now we have what is known as a fret press with a fret press column. This brass insert that's in this column is actually notched and radiused. So it's got a radius and it's got a notch to hold that fret wire in place. These cawls, worth the cork covered cawls, and by the way, your students are going to snap these in 2. They split right along here because they're only poplar, but they will split these. These are about $8 or $9. Not a bad investment. Get a bunch of these. You're going to need these. So down here, it's flat. Got to turn it over so I have a flat working surface. When I'm up here in the middle, I'll lay the neck in the caul to press. Doesn't matter what direction you go. You do want to get it somewhat centered. And it could be a 2-student job. Like this weird nut thing you got here, Mike.
You're being recorded.
Yeah, that's not gonna get edited out.
So this happens to be a 1/2-ton press, which means how much force can I put on this fretboard? 1,000 pounds. I don't need 1,000 pounds, but a 1/2-ton press is basically the size that works the best for this. I'm barely pulling down the knee. Now when you're done, you're going to get back in here and you're going to nip the fret. Oh, this is where safety glasses come into play. Because I don't know where this thing's going to go. Okay. I'm serious. It's not about what you're doing, it's about what everybody else is doing.
Yep.
Oh, the other thing is you don't want this on a table. You always want to put these little pieces on the floor. You don't want to set a neck down and have that embed in the back of the neck or the body. It's dirty. So I just nipped them tight. Okay. Here comes the next fun step. This is where blood will potentially be placed on your guitar. Your DNA may be part of the guitar. So this is a file. I call it the little car because it's shaped like a car. And it drives like a car. It goes forward. We don't go backward in it, it only goes forward. Okay. There is no reverse. We only cut in one direction. If you notice, it's angled. And it's angled so it cuts when we're pushing downward on the frets. If I cut going upward, I could pull the fret out of the slot. So I really want to push in when I'm driving
Now
forward.
you would have this, the whole fretboard is fretted at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. I would fret the whole fretboard and then do this.
Yeah.
But for demo purposes, we have 3. Now listen. You can hear the metal, right? The metal's going to go away, and it'll be quiet. This cuts metal really well. It cuts wood really badly. Okay, so you're not going to damage your fretboard. Here's the other trick. This caul, it's designed to ride on this caul. The problem is you get out here, and there's nothing there to hold it up, so you're on your own up there. I like having the control of being able to bevel at whatever angle I choose to bevel it at. His tool will bevel it exactly at 30-something degrees. Okay.
You got that white glove.
So I'll demonstrate both. Because this, I file it and I just use this. Now, what's the hazard here? I could go up and over the fret. That can happen. Same thing can happen here. So what's on the bottom of this? What do you think's on the bottom of this? Oh, this is the bottom of the tool. So what do you think's on the bottom of that tool?
Metal shavings.
Metal shavings. Where did they come from? The frets. What are they going to do to your frets? And there's no way around this. This is HDPE, high density polyethylene. It's great stuff. It's slippery. It does a good job. The problem is that filing dust embeds in here and it scratches.
And
the
they're
frets.
expensive. If you're buying from Stu Mack or somebody,
Yeah, they're not cheap. But I don't like it because it's got this. And you can feel how rough it is. This literally does, here, I'll let you, sorry. This literally drives across your frets and it bevels them. It's a great tool. If we can figure out a way to not have that, we're way better off.